Hey, everybody. Michelle is here. Michelle is here on Friday. I think it's January 10th, 2025. And I know a lot of people I know have a birthday today. So if I don't reach out to you personally, happy birthday to those of you listening to me, because I know you have a birthday today. But anyway, I'm out and about, running around, handling my business. And, we really, it's a lot of things going on that a lot of people do not want to face. And it has a lot to do with their cognitive abilities. Okay? Cognitive abilities. And especially when it comes to driving a vehicle. There are a lot of people whose cognitive abilities have deteriorated. And they are essentially danger on the streets. Okay, and I know a lot of us have relatives like that who, they were great drivers in their 20s, 30s, but once they got to a certain age and their certain abilities started declining, okay, they became a danger on the road for other people. And so I ran into that with a lot of my relatives. Their cognitive abilities were declining. It says nothing about their intelligence. It says nothing about anything about them. It says you can't drive anymore. You can't ride a bike anymore. You can't do this or that or the other anymore. It's unsafe for yourself, me, and the general public, So each time I get into a vehicle with someone, I make sure that I feel safe, not just for my just not for my own self. Not just for my own self-preservation. It's for the safety of the people that are in my vehicle. When you're in my presence, I've said this before, I do everything in my power to protect you, okay, and make sure you're safe. So that means if I have to take over and drive, you're going to let me take over and drive. Otherwise, I may decline to continue driving in a vehicle with you. So again, just recognize that your cognitive abilities over time do deteriorate. No matter how you look, and what position you have, you can start becoming a danger on the roadway. It doesn't, it says nothing about your intelligence. It just says something about your ability to drive. Okay, especially in these crowded roadways where everybody's looking at their phone, like me, or looking at each other talking. It's just a lot of distractions going on. Thankfully, I can multitask because that's what my career was. As a first responder, we had to know how to multitask and do several things at a time. So that's what I do, and I'm still good at it. But again, recognize that your cognitive abilities do deteriorate over time, especially with my eyesight. But thankfully, over the last, I don't know how many years, my eyesight hasn't changed as much. The reading, of course, when I'm reading stuff, but my eyesight and my vision is pretty spot on. But again, the lighting, we have light pollution, not to mention noise pollution. There's too many lights. There's too many unsafe lighting out here for the vision. Some vehicles have lights on there. Some people use the manufacturer recommended suggestion of keeping your lights on your vehicle. At night it is terrible, especially for my eyes at night. The many shades of light on vehicles. And some people ramp it up themselves and add their own equipment. So it's just a dangerous place to be if you don't have a proper cognitive abilities to be able to drive defensively and look around and see who's in your environment. That's what I do all day anyway. When I'm stopped at a light, I take that opportunity to look around and see what is going on. Is someone standing around? Is something suspicious going on? I just pay attention to my environment. And I just suggest everyone else do the same. As long as your cognitive abilities are functioning properly, and you'll get that, you'll get a cue that your cognitive abilities are declining from your family members, from your loved ones, from your partners, significant others, sometimes your co-workers. And that happens also in all environments where your cognitive abilities are declining. You can no longer handle a certain function of responsibilities. Okay? Don't deny it, especially as people get older. They think that they can still act as though they were 20 and 30. And they're in their 60s, 70s, and 80s and up, and they still think that they can do those things that they were in their 20s. There's a lot of delusion and hallucination, and a lot of people are putting themselves in danger. And my point is, just think for yourself, relax. You're not in competition with anyone. These things that I'm talking about, you can do it and no one knows that's what you're doing. Pay attention to your environment. When you're out and about walking, every now and then stop and pull you and step out of the way of people, and then just kind of pay attention to who's following you, who's around you, what are people doing, what are people saying. Just keep yourself safe. Nothing says that you won't still be assaulted or robbed or harmed in some way. But when you're out and about handling your business, minding your business, you're still responsible for the safety of your environment. You live in it, okay? You are still responsible for the safety of others as well, if you know how to do that. That's what I do. That's what I love. Pay attention to people walking around. Pay attention to people and their behaviors and actions. Okay, don't just call the police because you see a black man walking in your neighborhood. Okay, that's illogical. And the police department is to blame for that. They have to take full responsibilities for some of these people and the way they react to people and how they target certain people as dangerous and suspicious. I mean, when I was in law enforcement, you just don't know how many calls I received about, okay, there's someone walking in my neighborhood. Okay, I mean, and what are they doing specifically? They can never tell you specifically what they're doing except they're walking. Okay, well, if someone's walking in your neighborhood, they're allowed to walk in your neighborhood. Okay, unless you have some barriers or some way of them not being allowed to come into those neighborhoods. People can walk wherever the hell they want. Okay, you can't just go around telling people where they can walk and what they can do, and they can't come in your neighborhood and all this crap. People are delusional, and they're paying attention to the wrong things. They're paying attention to the wrong things. Everybody's scared, especially men for some reason. And they say it out of their mouths that they're scared. God damn, if they're scared, imagine what women and children feel like. They're scared. And, come on, relax, get a grip, okay? Find reasons to be scared, okay? Instead of, what people are saying on social media or on the news. And mainly it's the news. It's the major news outlets that are intentionally scaring the hell out of people so they can keep you engaged, keep you listening. Oh my God, the tragedies. And of course, like people are saying on the social media platform as well, and I know this just from experience, dealing with catastrophes or dealing with these high profile events. It's about, with the major news outlets, they want your attention. They want you paying attention to them and not paying attention to what's really actually going on around you. Okay, so I don't have cable for a reason, because I know the trappings of it all, and plus it wasn't worth me paying $200 or more a month for services I rarely use because I was so busy doing other things. That's mainly what the reason was. It's my time. I never really had the time to watch what I wanted to watch. And usually I watch the same programming over and over and over again. So pay attention, and I said this before, when you pull into a parking lot, as I have here, look around, see what everyone is doing in the parking lot. Okay, pay attention to people paying attention to you. Is someone parking too close to you? Is someone sitting in a vehicle and attempting to avoid you seeing them or witnessing what they're doing? I do this all the time. People standing around And we got the issues with the homeless or the unhoused, whatever everyone wants to call it. But in most cases, they're not the problem. As far as burglarizing your vehicle, okay, or stealing and this and that and the other. The unhoused are usually not the ones responsible for that. These vehicle break-ins and burglaries are organized crime events. They have a hierarchical structure training them or have taught them how to break into vehicles, break into businesses, scam people. Like in this particular parking lot I am in right now, there are several. At first, it started out as a small group of people washing vehicles. Now, almost half the parking lot are people sitting around in chairs washing vehicles. Okay, that's suspicious to me, because that makes you vulnerable. Okay, it makes you vulnerable. So, in other words, they're not necessarily all the time just washing your vehicle. So let's just be clear and effective about what's going on. Stop being offended by anything people bring to your attention. For Pete's sake, settle down with all these emotions. All of these emotions are, like, especially from, well, I'm not gonna keep saying that. All this being scared about every little thing and being so timid. And not protective of at all. Not protective of at all. I mean, we've had numerous people, be assaulted in plain sight, have stuff stolen from them in plain sight, and no one says a goddamn thing. Okay, nothing. So get in the habit of paying attention, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. Look around. Don't just necessarily jump out of your vehicle once you pull into a parking lot. Look around. Most of us have tinted windows, and it doesn't matter if people see you or not. It's also important for people to see you watching them. It is important. If you see somebody suspicious, just sit there. You don't need to call the police unless they're doing something specifically. Just sit in your vehicle, look at them, ask, be curious about what the hell they're doing. Okay? Take back your power. Please take back your power. Take back your sacredness. Take back your humaneness. Okay? It's about universal love. And taking care of people, protecting people, loving people. Defending people if necessary. These neighborhoods require human interaction. And not everybody wants to be bothered, and trust me, that's at the top of my list as well. I don't like to be bothered. Okay, well, if I'm in my home and you're my neighbor, don't bother me unless there's an emergency. And so where I am right now, a lot of people mind their own motherfucking business, thankfully, and a lot of them are men, actually, majority men, and for the most part they're single, I guess. I don't know. Again, I mind my own motherfucking business. So do they. I don't interact with them unless there's an emergency. I allow people their space because it's crowded everywhere. It's hard to find a parking space in my environment. This traffic is picking up, because of these events happening, because I'm in an area where a lot of events take place. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot to navigate. Okay. But I am respectful of my neighbor. I don't play my music too loud. I just don't disrespect people. How about that? I value my privacy. I value it, and I want that to happen for others. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my running around. But I'm just telling you, pay attention to your environment. Pay attention to your infrastructure. When you're sitting in your vehicle, don't jump out immediately. Sit there for a moment and listen. Is anyone? Make sure you're not hearing people screaming. You don't see people running. You don't see any type of reason to believe that something may be going on. Of course, you're going to run into problems now. Don't think that this is a safe, proof behaviors and actions, but at least sit there first before you jump out and run into a grocery store, more specifically and especially. Okay? Just look around, any place, like, libraries. I remember I used to have dreams about libraries, and I correlated that to grocery stores. Okay? Sometimes your dreams are like that. I figured it out that it wasn't alerting me to libraries necessarily. It was alerting me about the dangers of grocery stores. So pay attention, look around, see who's here, who's there, what people are doing, and keep yourself safe. Okay? Peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. It's about universal love at the end of the day. And remember, we were always inclusive.